Hey guys, welcome. It's great to be here again. And in today's live, we will carry on with the diary extracts from Kate McCann. If you've been in my last live, then you will know that we still have quite a lot to cover. And I'm just going to say that these extracts they are from a couple of news articles, old news articles, and these are archived or stored or published, if you will, on Jerry McCann's blogs.co.uk if you want to have a look at that separately. And I'll just give you guys a couple of minutes to join. I know I'm a bit early, and if I'm honest with you, I almost changed my mind to do this live. But I said, okay, I'll do it. I'll have to do it. I kind of push myself, and so here I am. Okay, let me add. Is it here? Yeah. I'm going to add this here. So this is where we are carrying on from. And with thanks to Astro for the translation. The reason why it says that, I'm guessing, is because quite a few of these articles, they are from the Portuguese newspaper Correio da Manhã. So somebody did translate that into English and it was added onto the website. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Jerry McCann's blogs.co.uk, as far as I'm aware, there is no affiliation to Jerry McCann, and he also says on the website as well, once you go on the homepage. I'm not going to go now on the homepage because I'm going to lose the position where I am now. But as it seems, it doesn't have anything to do with Jerry McCann. So before we get started, there is something that I really want to tell you guys. This couple of days, I was kind of like, thinking to myself, let me just try and go back on my research for the last few years into the Madeleine McCann case. And so I wanted to kind of, get a refresher and share it with you guys parts of my research and stuff like that. And I was trying to find it. And sadly, I realized that all of my research material, including photos, articles, videos, uh, everything that I have written down and researched and put together, all that material was actually on one of my laptops. And that particular laptop was, in fact, collected by the police about 2 years ago or so. And it was. It was part of court proceedings, which I can't talk about because I would be in contempt of court. Now the proceedings are over, but as it turns out, I tried to inquire about the laptop to get it back because I had all my research on it. And as it turns out, apparently my laptop was destroyed by the police. I had some evidence on there to do with the court proceedings that I was involved in, and I kept the evidence on the laptop. And because the laptop was kind of an old one, I couldn't back it up automatically as soon as it turned on because it would have been too slow. So I couldn't have done anything else whilst it was backing up. So all of my research into the Madeleine McCann case was not backed up. And so I lost everything. The only thing that I have left right now is what you see on this channel. That's all I've got left. Photos, articles, all sorts of downloads, documents and stuff like that. Everything is gone. The funny thing is that when I gave the laptop to the police, they've never informed me that it might be destroyed. Yep. And they didn't even let me know. For months and months, I kept on inquiring what happened to the laptop. Apart from other evidence which was collected, it was returned, but the laptop was not returned. Just to find out, after I made an official complaint against the police, that in fact the laptop was destroyed. There you go. Wonderful work, isn't it? Okay, anyway, because I don't want to remember so many things from the last 3 years or so, so I'm just gonna jump onto carrying on with what this life is really about. But I just really wanted to let you know, guys, because I had plans to bring back research into lives so that we can have a conversation around them. And it would have been my research, which was not all of it part of the videos that I made. So it would have been something new for you, perhaps. But sadly, I lost everything. So, yeah. Okay. Now, this article, you guys, you see it on your screen, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. So this article is from Correio da Manhã, 31st of July, 2008. Kate tried to hide twins' tantrums. Kate's notebooks, Sean and Emily, were only 18 months old. The concern with the image was such that Madeline's mother became anxious when Emily cried in front of the Portuguese journalists. Notes reveal some moments of tension. Kate McCann's notes are filled with details about the twin children and the manner in which they dealt with the rest of the family. Maddie's mother tells about the children's everyday life and often reveals some tiredness over the energy of the smaller ones. Sean and Emily were born from in vitro fertilization, just like Maddie, but apparently they failed to notice their sister's absence. Kate often tells that her two smaller children kept their own routines, and she even reveals some guilty feelings over trying to get on with life with some normalcy. It can also be perceived in some of the writings that Kate wanted to avoid the tensions with the smaller children to become known by the media. Just like she describes it about a tantrum from Emily, dated June the 4th, when the little girl started yelling in the car. Quote, they fell asleep, Sean instantly, Emily only after throwing a big tantrum while we tried to sit her into the baby seat, all in front of the Portuguese media. And then we stopped on the way so we could cuddle them outside of the car trunk. I sometimes worry that Emily may be missing Maddie more than we thought. Maybe I'm being paranoid, end quote, writes Kate, who on the next day left her children in the crash again. After a shower and breakfast, take Sean and Emily to the kids' club. So this is an extract from Case Diary, and it's so weird. It's so weird. I don't understand why she would feel the need to write down about the tantrum, or even calling it a big tantrum in front of the media. Oh, it's all about public image with them, isn't it? Hi Annie, thank you for joining. On the 14th of June, Kate shows her tiredness yet again, not only over Maddie's disappearance, but also over the care that the smaller ones demanded. Quote, Sean slept with me most of the night after half an hour of hysterics at midnight. End quote, she reveals, while 3 days later she complains again that her children now fall asleep at a later time. I tried to take Sean and Emily to bed at around 7:30 p.m., but it took rather long again, especially Emily, Kate recognizes. Again, this is what Kate says a couple of days after Madeline went missing. So you would think, as a mother, that she would kind of appreciate having the other two children with her and not so much complaining about their behavior as babies. You know, do you get what I mean? It's just weird. It feels as if, although she lost one child just a couple of days before, it's like she's still not thankful for the two children that she's got, and she still finds ways to complain about everything. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I think that if I would be in her shoes, which obviously I'm not going to claim I am, but I don't think that I would complain about the two children that I have with me after the other child went missing. I would rather, appreciate and cherish every single moment, even if it's like hysterics or tantrums or whatever. I mean, kids are kids, babies are babies. They will throw tantrums, they will have attitudes, they will, be in hysterics, as she says. But again, that's what they do. Okay, let me move on. So we are here. On the 21st of June, Kate is ironical about the children's behavior. Quote, Sean and Emily's biological clocks seem to have changed now. They go to bed later and they get up later. I think they are becoming Portuguese, end quote, says Kate, who on the 4th of May, during the first questioning, guaranteed that her children always went to bed at 7:30 p.m. Okay, first of all, this is not coming from me in a negative way or anything like that. I'm not English, as you know. For me, it was always the timing of when usually children and babies go to sleep. For me, 7:30 p.m. seems a bit early, but maybe this is just because I'm not English. I'm from a different country, and we kind of have, different, how do you say, different ways of doing things. I normally wouldn't get my children to bed at 7:30 p.m. Now, of course, a lot of other people do, and especially since I've been here in England, I've realized that most of parents, they do get their children to bed early. But the thing that bothers me really about Kate's comments in her diary is the fact that she says that they are becoming Portuguese, or I think she thinks they are becoming Portuguese. What does that even mean, really? I mean, why? Because they go to bed a bit later than usual. It's very well known that children and babies and toddlers, they thrive on routine, and when they have sudden changes of routine, it's kind of very difficult to get them settled at the same time, especially because not only are they in a different country, there is a different time zone as well, but also all the commotion and everything that has happened with them, not with them particularly, but around them. So toddlers, babies, they might pick up on stress, on different other things, and they could be more irritated than usual. This is, my opinion. Okay, I'm gonna move on to Kate's notes. So we've already read that the notes from June the 4th. Now let's get on to the June the 5th. Again, we wake up relatively late, around 7:30 a.m., preceded by notification of the good morning by Sean and Emily. After a shower and breakfast, take Sean and Emily to the kids' club. When she says notification of the good morning by Sean and Emily, could it be perhaps that she means it like sarcastically, as in they woke up screaming and shouting in hysterics, and that's how everybody woke up in the morning? I'm not quite sure about that, but considering the way that she talks in her diary, it's not far-fetched to think that, right? So we've read the June 14 notes, how Sean slept with Kate past midnight after hysterics, and then their biological clocks changing. Now let's move on to photographed during walks. In her notebooks, Kate tells that the walks with the twins were agreed with the English press. They were often photographed entering and exiting the apartment at the Ocean Club in Praia da Luz. Go figure. Tension with her mother and support from her father. The disappearance of Maddie generated several tensions within the Mccann family, namely between the Mccann couple, but Kate's notes clearly reveal that the most difficult was the relationship with her own mother. Despite the fact that her parents immediately traveled to the Algarve, just like several aunts that helped to take care of the twins during the times that followed the disappearance of Maddie, Kate only found support with her father. In her notes dated June 8, 2007, Kate reports that she was upset and angry with her mother. Quote, "At this moment, I could do without this kind of thing. I have enough to think about and emotionally exhausted," she wrote, recalling an argument during a walk with the twins in the Algarve. It seems that Kate, she doesn't have an issue with somebody who is on her side and supporting her, but rather she has issues with people who are not so positive towards her. I would assume that's perhaps the reason why she was okay with her dad, but not with her mom. 5 days later, at a time when Kate's parents return to the UK, Madeline's grandmother shows her indignation with her daughter's attitude at the same time when she ends up being appeased by her father. In her notes dated June 13, Kate writes that her mother calls her complaining about not hearing from her since the previous day and saying she had an awful day. Quote, "I explained to her that I had been told that someone had given us the location of my daughter's body. Did she know that? No," Kate remembers, referring to a letter from a supposed abductor that had been received at a Dutch newspaper. After the argument with her mother, Kate talks with her father, a conversation which calmed her down. Deep down, he was very strong and he says some very sweet things. So this is a very interesting one. This one is dated, these notes are dated June 13, right? And it's very interesting to me that she's already referring to Madeline as in her body, location of her body. I might be wrong here. I'm not saying that I'm not, I might be wrong. Maybe I didn't read everything that's out there, but I don't think there was anybody claiming that they know the location of Maddie's body. And I think that the first hint of Maddie being dead came from the parents themselves. There was no mention of this by the police or by anybody else. It was actually, if I'm not mistaken, perhaps I am, Jerry who was the first one to mention this. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I might be. I mean, I have so many, so many things with all the research and everything. And sometimes it's a bit hard to remember or perhaps to keep it clear, when you have so many things going. Okay, so moving on to PJ went to London to fetch diary. Kate McCann's diary, which is considered to be fundamental by the investigators due to the fact that it reveals the profile of Maddie's mother, led the Policia Judiciaria to England to try and apprehend it, but it was never validated as evidence and the process ended up being archived. The document, which started to be written by Kate upon advice from a psychiatrist after her daughter's disappearance, was discovered by the police in the Ocean Club apartment in the Algarve and was initially photocopied and analyzed. But it was only in April, during their last trip to England, that the PJ was granted permission to formally apprehend the original document, a fundamental diligence that had been requested in September so it could be valued as evidence. But the judge that held the process decided to postpone the validation of the diary, which therefore could not be taken into account with the PJ's investigation. And in the meantime, the public ministry ended up archiving the case. The authorities believed that Kate's notes revealed her personality and therefore were determinant for the investigation, but they ended up never being able to use them as evidence. I think that indeed I do agree with the authorities that the diary does reveal her personality, Kate's personality. I mean, only from the extracts that we've read so far, it's kind of clear, in my opinion, that she has an issue with managing the children. Initially, the police only appended the copies of the document to the process, and the original was not apprehended because it juridically fitted within the concept of private correspondence, which is subject to a stricter regime. Meanwhile, the Mccanns returned to the UK, which forced the PJ to request the apprehension of the diary through rogatory letters, which took months to receive a reply. And now we have the next article, which is again from Correio da Manhã, 1st of August 2008. Kate devalued leads of Maddie. This is how the article is called, Correio da Manhã. From Kate's notebooks, Mccann ignored contacts. Again, thanks to Astro for translation. This was an article originally written by Eduardo Damaso, Tania Laranjo, Ana Luisa Nascimento. The disappearance of Madeline prompted dozens of contacts to the authorities, but the parents took none seriously. Kate and Jerry Mccann were always suspicious about the indications from strangers that guaranteed to know the whereabouts of Maddie. In the cases when money was demanded, Maddie's parents seemed to know that the leads were false, just like Gonzalo Amaral describes in his book. In her notes, Kate always shows her disbelief concerning the reliability of the information, while Jerry, the situation is described in the former investigator's book, arose attention from the inspectors when, in the middle of a negotiation with a possible abductor, he sucked on a lollipop in a relaxed manner while reading banalities on internet sites and discussing rugby and football with one of the English policemen. Just goes to show how seriously he took the whole thing, Jerry, in my opinion. And also, again, thinking from a parent's perspective, although of course I can't really place myself in their position because I've never been in their position, and hopefully I never will be in a position like this, and I don't really wish this on anybody, right? You would think as a parent of your child missing that you would kind of believe any information or the reliability of any information received. And even if you wouldn't necessarily, believe it 100%, you still would want that to be followed up. It's kind of like, what if we don't check on this information? What if maybe it was something about Maddie, and what if we will never find out because we are not following the information, the tips and everything else, it's it's like normally it would kind of give you hope and not disbelief to begin with. And as Jerry's behavior was as well very casual, like it wasn't even about his daughter's disappearance, sucking on a lollipop, joking around. It's just crazy to me. So moving on, one of the cases happened on the 14th of June, long before the 3 detentions over extortion attempts were made, when the PJ received an email from an anonymous person who says he knows where Maddie is. Why are there so many crazy and evil people? Kate writes in her notes that same day in a comment about the situation, which she classified as something that could only be a joke. Not even giving it a chance, straight away saying it. I think from the way, I see it from my perspective, when you, oh, I hope you can still hear me. I touched the microphone. I hope it's still okay. So what I was going to say was that the only way that you would think straight away that it's a joke, or you wouldn't believe any kind of tips or information, it would be only if you would know for sure that all of these are fake and lies, which would then mean that you would know what happened with the child who disappeared, right? I mean, this is from my point of view. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for joining. Let's put your comment on the screen here. Elizabeth is saying the behavior of that couple has always been highly suspect, in my opinion. Definitely, a lot of us agree with you on this. It's just, it just doesn't make sense, their behavior as parents of a missing child, right? Their behavior just doesn't make sense. um, Doing this kind of photo shoots, posing for photos, doing this kind of videos, always worried and pretending for the media, if you will. It's just, it's not something that a parent of a missing child would do, in my opinion. So we are now at the 28th of June, right? Oh no. Oh yes. Okay. On the 28th of June, the process of the disappearance of Maddie, here we are. The process of the disappearance of Maddie makes the first detentions in Spain, an Italian, and the Portuguese due to attempted extortion. It's all a bit weird, Kate comments. 5 days later, Maddie's parents receive a new email from the anonymous person who had established contact 2 weeks earlier. In her notes, Kate reveals that she has no doubts that it can only be someone looking for money, and she congratulates herself over knowing that the man is going to be arrested. I've had news about the Dutch extortionist, someone motivated by money. Anyway, he's going to be arrested tomorrow. Oh, brilliant, Kate. You're so brilliant. The couple's behavior when faced with possible leads concerning their daughter's whereabouts after a publicity campaign that went around the world and was built by the parents themselves aroused the investigators' attention, namely during one of the first days when Kate, faced with the possibility of finding her daughter, is upset about the speed that is attained by the police car. Yes, I think we all remember this, don't we? When Kate was complaining that the police was driving at such a high speed and it was so annoying. And then they got to the police station and the police officers were not presentable at all and nobody offered them tea or biscuits or whatever. This is exactly the worry that you have when your daughter went missing. I'm sorry, but it's just not normal, in my opinion. It is not. It's not. Okay, so here we are. Here, guys. Notes of Kate McCann. We received a message from British police to go to the embassy. The Spanish police had received a call from a guy, Walter, who had information but wanted to talk with us. This is from June the 6th. An anonymous person sent an email saying they knew who had Madeline. Why are there so many crazy and evil people? This was on June 14th. Then, on July the 3rd, the Dutch extortionist established contact via email again today. Someone motivated by money. We've read this already. But okay, process available on Monday. The complete process concerning the disappearance of Madeleine McCann will be made available to anyone who manifests a legitimate interest from Monday onwards. Oh, I don't think I should have read this. This is, I think, just a bit of promotion. Um, yeah. Or hold on a second. So from Monday onwards, okay, that group includes the parties, Argido's witnesses and lawyers, and also journalists, due to the fact that this is a process of manifest public interest. Yesterday, the court invited everyone who had already made the requirement for the process to deliver a CD to the secretary's office so the digitalized process can be copied onto it. Oh, all right. Okay, so there was a request made to the judge. I get it now for the process to be made available to the public, right? And the judge agreed, as it turns out, and people could make requirements if they wanted to have a copy. And then from September onwards, remember that was on in 2008, so not now. The process will be available to the general public and the investigation will be subject to the most rigorous scrutiny. Still, the judge's decision ends up being surprising due to the fact that this case involves a minor and there would always be legal artifices that would allow for the investigation to be barricaded. Okay, so on one hand, yeah, we do know that when is a minor involved, you don't have access to anything like that. But I think that considering the fact that the media was involved from the get-go and everybody knew who Madeleine McCann was, that's probably one of the reasons that the judge took that decision. Because anyway, this couldn't have been kept hidden. Lawyers want priority access to the documents. Carlos Pinto Abreu and Rogerio Alves, the lawyers that represent the Mccann family in Portugal, have requested the Portimao court for priority in the access to the process. The lawyers have ensured that the access for the general public was postponed so they can access the original process and not a digital format. And I don't know what happened with that, with the priority access, but if you think about it logically, I think that the request, perhaps the priority access was given to the lawyers. I think that legally it needs to be done and they need to have access before the general public does. But of course, don't quote me on that because I'm not sure, but this is what I think. Oh, I'm getting thirsty. You know, I don't know if it happens to you, but I drink loads of coffee in a day. I think at least 7 mugs of coffee a day, okay? And I'm constantly thirsty, and I think it's because of the amount of coffee I drink. Excuse me, please. Okay, so moving on to the next article. This one is from the 11th of September 2008. Kate McCann was obsessed with getting her children to sleep. Okay, this is from Antenna 3, and this is again another Portuguese newspaper, I believe. This one is not actually Portuguese, but rather Spanish, I assume, because it says Espejo Público Madrid. So Madrid is in Spain. And thanks to Ines for translation on this one. Excuse me. Oh, before we carry on, I can't help myself. Okay, Hugh Edwards. We just heard the results of his court, of his trial, and it's just shocking to me how he just got away with it, didn't he? It's unbelievable. You know Hugh Edwards from the BBC. He was a BBC presenter. Yeah, right. And PDF. Yes. I- It's unbelievable, isn't it? That he got only probation. Anyway, let me just carry on because I'm just gonna get frustrated now over Hugh Edwards. Kate McCann was obsessed with getting her children to sleep, and I'm repeating myself. Okay. So let me start here. The 140 pages of the diary of Maddie's mother, considered vital by the PJ for the investigation of the case, reflect a woman obsessed by her children's sleep, as well as an extreme concern to place the blame on Murat and by what she describes as sloppiness on the part of the Portuguese and British police. 4th of May, barely having slept, I woke Amanda. Jerry and I began to search the streets at 6 in the morning when dawn began to break. We didn't find anything. I'm desperate. These are the first words that Kate wrote in her diary. This is the Portuguese translation of this diary that is not included in the case, which Maddie's mother began to write upon the suggestion of Philomena Mccann, also following the advice of a psychologist. So these are the first words that she wrote in her diary. 4th of May, barely having slept, I woke Amanda. Jerry and I began to search the streets at 6 in the morning when dawn began to break. We didn't find anything. I'm desperate. Great introduction to her diary, isn't it? Yep. Almost 140 pages in which Kate addresses Maddie with sentences such as, "We have to keep looking. We have to find you, sweetheart. I love you, Madeline." an essential document in the police's view in order to define Kate's profile as a mother. Analyzed by police psychologists, the different sentences of the diary show the facet of a caring and patient mother that contrast with other notes that reflect what the officers define as Kate's other face. The mother, extremely exhausted by caring for three children whom she daily takes to the Ocean Club crash before and after the disappearance. A mother obsessed by her children's sleep, noted in expressions such as these: Sean slept with us for most of the night after half an hour of hysteria at 12:30. Or on another page, I tried to take Sean and Emily to bed at 9:30, but it became very late again, especially with Emily. A week later, she notes in her diary, Sean and Emily's biological clocks have altered. They go to bed later and get up later. They seem to have become Portuguese. The investigators are surprised that Maddie's mother writes details such as this: Sean and Emily in their beds with blankets after the confusion of the last 7 days. It's weird, isn't it? I find it so strange. I don't look, I'm not keeping diary. I'm not that kind of person to write my thoughts down in a diary, where you kind of, if you will, log in every single day and write down your thoughts and everything like that. I did have diary when I was a teenager. I think that a lot of us did. It was, the age and the trend and so on and so forth. And obviously, a lot of adults will write diaries. I mean, it's up to you how you think you cope better when, you have some kind of problems and you can't really speak with everybody about them, right? So you write your thoughts down. Okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter. However, this just seems strange. This diary just seems strange, just like her book. Just her book is strange. Her diary is strange. Everything is strange about this. It's strange. It's just strange. So okay. This is where we are left of. Why this obsession with the time and the way of getting the children to sleep? Why does Kate note the detail of the blankets? These are some of the investigators' questions. Details from a diary which indicates Gordon Brown's phone calls and which also reflects other obsessions, such as the extreme concern to place the blame on Murat and what she describes as sloppiness, not only on the part of the Portuguese, but also the British police, whom she accuses of committing errors that eliminate some of the evidence of the investigation. And I think that this is a genuine concern coming from the police, isn't it? Because there are just some things that she is obsessed with, and there are just some things that she writes in her diary, which, why the focus on that? Okay, I understand. You write everything you want in your diary, it's your diary, but it's odd. That's all I can say. It's odd. You guys help me out in the comments. I'm not seeing any comments here. But to me, it's odd. Yeah, and this is actually the photo, a part of the photo that I used on the thumbnail. And this one is from News of the World, if you believe it. But as you can see there in brackets, it clearly says article now removed. And I even tried to click on the link and the article is removed. So, News of the World and the connections there and everything like that. So it's not surprising that the article is removed. And in fact, all of the links here, which are on this page, I tried to get on the links so I can find the original articles, but guess what? Nothing is available anymore. Yep. So apparently this is exclusive to News of the World, and this article was written by Daniel Sanderson on 13th of September 2008. And it goes like that. Today we reveal the secret diary of agonized mom Kate Mccann, penned over months as she and husband Jerry struggled to deal with their daughter Madeline's abduction. Her words destroy the litany of lies told by Portuguese cops to paint them as cold and calculating. Kate wrote, quote, "I can't bear being without Madeline. It's like torture, a slow, painful death. End of quote. So now I understand why News of the World wrote this article, because this article is to, of course, further place the Mccanns in a positive light, and of course, further to discredit the Portuguese police, right? That was the play from the beginning, really. Moving on, carrying on. For months, the Portuguese police leaked carefully selected extracts from Kate McCann's secret diary, chosen to deliberately paint her and husband Jerry as the ice couple, cold, dispassionate, and emotionless in the face of 3-year-old Madeline's abduction. Now, for the first time, the News of the World can fill in the blanks and nail those lies. The 135-page journal covering April 28, 2007 to Tuesday, July 31st was passed to us by a reporter in Portugal appalled by the sickening smear campaign against the McCanns. Can you believe that? Kate's log of the dark days after Madeline vanished from their holiday flat reveals the true picture of the tortured woman behind the calm, brave face she had to portray in public, as initial disbelief and numbness gave way to desperation and rage. Often she includes touching messages of love to her missing daughter. It confirms the strength Kate drew from her devout Catholic faith, and frankly admits the doubts the trauma forced her to face. Let's pause for a second here and let's see what Annie is saying. It's totally odd. Today, don't most people call something like that journaling? Diaries for little girls. Yes, well, I'm not sure. I mean, I found both of the terms, but both of them really mean the same thing. But yeah, journaling, yeah, usually people call it journaling. And like you said, that's why I said when I was a teenager, I had a diary, because it's kind of like you said, diaries for little girls, right? Hi, Bernadette. Thank you so much for joining. Yay. I'm glad you're here. Right. Where was I? Where were we? Oh, yeah. Here. The entry for the fateful day Madeleine McCann vanished, May the 3rd, 2007, makes chilling reading in her mother's diary because it started out so normal. Now, please keep in mind that this diary was not written on the day that Madeleine McCann went missing, right? It was written after she went missing. And it includes the first day that she went missing. So it includes May the 3rd. So Kate records that the day began just like any other since the family arrived at the Mark Warner Ocean Club in Praia da Luz on Portugal's Algarve coast. One long, happy round of swimming, tennis, kids' clubs, games, and fun. But knowing what is about to befall them turns Kate's simple account of the children's evening bedtime routine into a tense drama. Thursday, May the 3rd. Oh my God, check this out because this is just beyond weird, okay? So, Thursday, May the 3rd. Milk and biscuits for the kids. I left them with this and books and games and went to have a quick shower slash wash my hair. Am, as in Madeline, tired, sitting on my lap. I read the story of Mog, favorite children's book. Brush teeth, to the bedroom with the kids. Am pulls away and puts her head on pillow. Kisses good night for Am. Pulled the door to as far as possible without shutting it. Silence. Dry hair, put makeup on, glass of wine, restaurant. During dinner nearby with friends, dubbed the Tapa 7, the group took turns to check the children. At 10 p.m., Kay discovers Madeline gone. The McCanns and helpers frantically scour the area until 4 a.m. Note the first entry in this diary. This does not sound like somebody would write something in a journal, but rather somebody who puts down a timeline and who writes down everything that has happened on the day, just so they have the evidence there that this is what happened, this is what they did. Ta-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra. You know the story. It doesn't sound like a journal. Milk and biscuits for the kids. Why do you even need to write that down? I don't know. To the bedroom with the kids. Kisses good night. Okay. It, it's weird. How many times do I need to say it? Any saying cadaver dogs do not hit on regular things. The dogs sealed it for me. And who has cadaver smells in their tennis bag? Precisely. And also, who has cadaver smells on their trousers? And the story from Kate when the dog hit on the trousers was that she wore the same trousers when she went to the morgue because of her profession, and the smell stayed on her trousers. That's what she said, right? That's what she claimed. But then, how does that make sense? I mean, you wear a pair of trousers, you go to the morgue, you have a contact with a deceased person, yet you don't wash those trousers and you take them on holiday with you and then you wear them on holiday. Uh, How does it make sense? Okay, let's just move on to Friday, May the 4th. This is gonna be beyond frustrating, I think. All these things, oh gosh. Okay, Friday, May the 4th. No sleep. Jerry and I started looking through the streets around 6 as it was starting to get light. Nobody around. Why not? Desperate. Minutes seem like hours. Outside the apartments, masses of people asking questions about that night and for descriptions of Madeline. Long day. Then, this is the comment from the author of the article, I think, in brackets. Then Kate, Jerry, and their 7 friends were taken to the PJ headquarters in nearby Portimao to give statements. Nobody from the police introduced themselves. Nobody offered us a drink or food. All the police dressed informally and smoking. No sympathy was shown and far from inspiring. I believe my statement would have been around 3 p.m. and such. They allowed Jerry, to come in with me, but seated behind me. Translator present. The police officer who took us by car to the station was the one asking the questions and afterwards typed the answers on a typewriter. Morals. I don't know what that means. We left the police station around 7:30 to 8 p.m. After 15 minutes, we received a call from the PJ saying we had to go back, but they didn't tell us why. We turned around and flew back at around 200 kilometers an hour. Once again, frightening. Did they find her? Please, God, is she dead? Prayers. We arrived. They showed us a photo of a girl they'd forgotten to show us from the closed circuit TV footage or from the CCTV. Not M. Devastating. Oh. Oh, guys. I think it's gonna get much worse than this, isn't it? Annie, what are you saying? You are saying yuck. Anyway, nothing like packing for vacation with dirty clothes. Exactly, exactly. Like it just doesn't make sense, does it? It's it's obvious in so many ways that a lot of things are lies, and like I kept saying in my previous videos, in my old videos on this case, it seems as if Kate and Jerry Mccann, they are kind of treating us, the general public, as children, right? Who are just gonna believe everything. Like feed them a story and they will just believe it. Like we are children and we cannot think. Hold on a second, this doesn't make sense. Hold on a second, but how is this possible or how is that possible? You know what I mean? It's like we would be children and they would tell us a story or read to us from a book. I don't know. And again, we have complaints here from the diary. We have complaints that nobody offered them a drink, that the police officers, they were dressed informally and they were smoking. What does that have anything to do with anything? Probably in 2007 they were allowed to smoke inside, because in England as well, you could smoke inside buildings and now you can't, is made illegal. So I don't know why. I don't know why. No sympathy was shown and far from inspiring. What does that even mean? Far from inspiring. As in, no sympathy. I'm not so sure that the police should show sympathy, or maybe it depends. I mean, me being from a different country, I can kind of compare, the British police and the police from a different country. So here in England, say for example, you have police officers who are, you know, being nice to you, talking to you nicely, showing sympathy. But please bear in mind, just because they show sympathy does not mean that they show genuine sympathy. They might do that just to kind of gain your trust, right? But anyway, in comparison to police from different countries, police officers in different countries, at least in Romania, they are not showing sympathy whether you are innocent or you are guilty. They are just straight police officers. Is my job as a police officer to question you. That's it. I don't need to, as I say, sugarcoat things just to make you feel better. You know what I mean? But the thing is that, being from England, they probably expected a certain treatment, or maybe they expected the police in Portugal to behave the same way as the British police does. I don't know. This is what I'm taking from it, really. But again, we have more complaints here where they just flew back at the station with 200 kilometers an hour. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. It's not like, oh, yay, I'm so happy. Finally, we are going to get there and see what's all about. They found Madeline. Yay, I'm so excited. Let's just get on with it. If it would be possible, you would kind of jump on a plane just so you can get there quicker, right? In normal circumstances. But no, not Kate. No, 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 no. It was dangerous because they flew in the car with 200 kilometers an hour. Yeah. It's interesting that she made the effort to write 200 kilometers rather than miles, because in England you do have miles, you don't have kilometers. But yeah. Annie saying, yes, I think they are so far removed from normal life. They think we would buy their nonsense. Yes, we are all the peasant class who need their help and guidance to live properly. Yes, Annie, 100%. Yes, yes. That is perfectly put the way you wrote it. Yes, exactly. Okay, moving on to Saturday, May the 12th, Madeline's birthday. Madeline is 4 years old. Day at resort with holiday group. Special mass for Madeline at 6 p.m. in Praia da Luz. Monday, May 14th. I slept well last night after a not very good end of the day. Frustration with the FLO, Portuguese police family liaison officer, asking me where would my little M be. Huh? What? Okay. So, okay. I slept well last night after a not very good end of the day. Should I say that I'm glad that she managed to sleep well during the night 1 week after Maddie went missing? Frustration with the Portuguese police family liaison officer, because she got frustrated because the liaison officer asked her where would Madeline be. Why would you get frustrated? Why? Okay, moving on. I got up at 6:50. I dealt with some trifles and got myself ready for the statement to the press at 8. I tried to put on a slightly more presentable and healthy air. Jerry again gave a great performance. the how is it called? Kind of like embedded confession, right? This one is so obvious. Jerry again gave a great performance. This is brilliant. It's brilliant. And he's saying, from what I know, they are the freaks. Life is not precious to them, but they act like they care. True, true. This one, I can't get it out of my head. A great performance. I think on this we can all agree with Kate here that Jerry gave a lot of great performances over the years, right? This one is true, Kate. This one is true in my opinion. Right, where was I? I'm getting my blood pressure up, guys. Okay, following on. Yeah, here. Following on, we answered about 4 questions. I almost responded to the first one asking how we were, but I didn't. Okay, Kate. I did answer a question on our possible return home. I replied that obviously I didn't even think about that. Anyway, it seems to have gone well. After breakfast and our having left Sean and Emily, who are 2 years old, by the way, we went to church to pray in silence. Very good, calming. Yes, very good, calming. So then, if you went to church to pray, might I ask why didn't you take your children with you? Because in the end, you are going to church. Oh, yes, you wanted to pray in silence to calm down because the twins are hysterical. Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Okay. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Annie is saying performance, but he's terrible at it. Yes, he's terrible. True, true, true. I agree. Right, okay. Here I am on this one. After getting back, I decided to go running for the first time since already 11 days ago. I knew that it was going to be physically difficult, but I also knew that I wasn't going to give up because it was for Madeline and also because the level of pain is far higher now. No cameras or journalists, which was great. It's very interesting that she says no cameras or journalists, and it was great considering the fact that they are the ones, arranging all of these scenes, all of these photo shoots, and all of these interviews and such. But my guess is that she's referring to Portuguese journalists and cameras because we all know that Jerry and Kate they didn't like those because obviously they spoke against them. But of course, that the British media was welcome from the beginning. I went running towards the beach and then along it, and again climbed that hill so steep without stopping. I carried a photo of Madeline in my hand to keep me going. On the last hill past the tennis courts, my legs completely weak, but I managed to keep myself walking. I managed to reach the apartment, then time to stop to think. I felt really quite calm. Wednesday, May 23rd. Gordon Brown, then Chancellor and PM in waiting, called and spoke with Jerry, very kind and giving encouragement, feeling a bit emotional afterwards. Saturday, May 26th. We went to an amusement park with the kids. Some phone calls, emails, etc. Not a very good day for either the two of us. Some dark thoughts, frustrations, desperation creeping in. Some tears. Then, in a moving little message to Madeline, I love you so much. XXX. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Axis, axis. Sunday, May 27. Clarence Mitchell, Foreign Office, Family Liaison. I can't pronounce this one. At the time, spoke to us about a possible trip to the Vatican. It seems that it really is going to happen. Main story on the news. Wow, wonderful celebrities, right? Oh, spoke to that. I went for a walk to the beach with Sean and Emily. Frozen. Beach slippery, wet feet. We all had dinner when we got back to the apartment. We have to keep looking. We have to find you, beloved. XXXXX. Kate signed off the day's entry by drawing a heart with I love Madeline inside. Wednesday, May 30th. After trip to see Pope detailed above, the kids went to bed again around 9 p.m. Low point of tonight, becoming desperate without hope because of the lack of information. They are acting like they have no leads at all. Very worried. Tomorrow it will be 4 weeks since Madeline was taken. 4 weeks since we saw our special little girl. We are not certain that we will ever see her again, but know that we have to keep up our hope and strength for the others at least. Exhausted. I love you so much, Madeline. You must come back. X. Friday, June the 1st. Quite fed up. I can't stop thinking about Madeline, about her fear of pain. How can I go on knowing that her life could have ended like this? This week I have been quite overtaken by black thoughts. Please, God, bring her back. Bedtime is becoming more and more of a challenge. Oh, does it not seem sometimes like she's writing in this diary like she's a kid? And other times like it's a timeline? I don't know. It's so mixed. So mixed. Oh, I can't stop thinking about Madeline, about her fear of pain. Such a weird thing to say. Okay, Saturday, June the 2nd. I can't remember today, which is now yesterday. The morning was spent doing paperwork. I wrote a letter to J.K. Rowling asking for her help in keeping Madeline in the public eye. She has a new Harry Potter book, which will come out in July. I asked if it would be possible to do something like a bookmark with Madeline on. An enjoyable afternoon. I never felt so relaxed. I felt it was wrong. Sean and Emily had fun, and that was important. I also worried about what people might think, like, how can they manage to. It seems that Sean is liking the beach more these days. We had tea in a nearby restaurant. Good, despite still thinking that I had to do normal things without feeling guilty. We left around 7:30 p.m. and the kids were completely exhausted. Fed up again. Poor Madeline. Once again, it took a long time before Sean and Emily were sorted. Finally went to church for 10 minutes. Private worship. Despairing. Cried again in bed. I can't avoid it. I need her close to me. Thinking about her fear of pain breaks my heart. Thinking about PDFs makes me want to tear at my own skin. Of course, these people, like psychopaths, are normal human beings. I was never in favor of the death penalty, but these people should be kept in a secure place. I wouldn't even complain if he was in nice surroundings. But certainly in the case of PDFs, always distance from any type of contact with children. Whose human rights are more important, those of a PDF or of a vulnerable, defenseless child? Oh gosh, this is just unbelievable. Again, she's talking about thinking about Madeline's fear of pain, and then jumping straight to PDFs. No, it's I have no words. And Annie is helping me out again here. Thank you so much, Annie. You are saying, and these weird sayings and obsessions. It's a microscope, it's on her brain. 100% yes. And do you agree with me when I say that it doesn't seem like it's the brain of a normal person? It just seems like something is off there. I don't know. And then also I'm questioning this. I'm wondering, Did she ever took the time to reread the diary? So, say for example, you are writing Saturday, June the 2nd, the entries, blah blah blah, there, and then after a week you go back on it to recheck and reread. Did she do that? Like proofing kind of thing? Because surely if you go back and you read, it doesn't sound right, right? Okay, anyway. Tuesday, June the 5th. We are here, guys. Woke up relatively late again, around 7:30 a.m., with a good morning wake up call from Sean and Emily. Adorable. I just wish it had been all three of them that came into the room. After a shower and breakfast, I took Sean and Emily to the kids' club. I asked if they could make birthday cards for their grandma and Jerry. Today is his birthday, but I had forgotten, which is not surprising. Thursday, June the 7th. The press conference went well. People are always asking how we are managing to cope, how we can manage to run a campaign as if we are strange because we are able to appear calm and controlled and aren't going under all the time. They know so little. Nobody should judge or criticize because, unless they have already been in this situation, they have no idea how they would be, and certainly no idea how painful it is. No idea at all. I love you so much, Madeline. XXXX. I can't bear this. I can't bear being without Madeline. It's like torture, a slow, painful death. I hope her suffering, if she is suffering, is much less. Please, God. Again, another very strange thing to say. I hope her suffering, if she is suffering, is much less. So, what would be different? Okay, so her suffering was much more at the beginning, but now her suffering is much less than it was. And why would you think that she would be suffering? And suffering what exactly? And why is your mind even going there straight away? I hope her suffering, if she's suffering, is much less. It doesn't make sense, guys. Seriously. Annie. Yes, I have my suspicions, but best to keep to myself. But it seems like people with similar obsessions are finally paying the piper. I think I know what you mean. Yes, yes, yes. Miss Jensky, hello. Thank you for joining. Rubbish. There are some things we know. That's weird. Miss Jansky is also saying, wouldn't you hope she isn't suffering at all? Precisely, right? Okay, where was I? I was, oh yeah, Sunday, the June 17th. Cherry or Sherry Blair, then the premier's wife, phoned to find out how we were. We talked about everything in general, including about them leaving number 10. She agreed as well to make a 20-second video clip for our broadcast on YouTube about Madeline and children who have disappeared. I also had the chance to speak to Tony, then Prime Minister, who told me that we weren't to hesitate to ask him if there was something he could do to help. On Sky News tonight, they suddenly said the Portuguese police had stated that the crime scene had been contaminated because of us and that fundamental evidence had been lost. How dare they insinuate that our daughter's life could be put in danger because of us? Very angry, very upset. I want to speak to someone now, but it's too late. But of course, that you contaminated the crime scene because you were the first people there and everybody got into the house, even though you, as doctors and you, as medical professionals, the whole group, should have known already about the forensics in that apartment, that the police will need to look for evidence of any kind, So, yeah, it was because of you, because you contaminated the crime scene, clearly. Just because the police said that the scene had been contaminated doesn't mean that the police pointed out that you put your daughter's life in danger, does it? Because you know what this is like. This is like the police saying one thing and then you kind of find a different meaning to it. Perhaps you're mirroring your guilt. I don't know. Now I'm gonna move on to the next ones. I changed my mind and I sent a text message to Ricardo, Portuguese police family liaison, liaison officer. Is it the right way? Liaison. I can't say it again. I don't know if it was a sensible idea, but I feel really annoyed. My darling little Madeline, you know that we wouldn't do anything to put you in danger. I love you very much, and I'm in agony right now. I only have to hope that God helps us all now, and that He brings you back to us, safe and sound, very soon. I need you to come back, Madeline. You are the best thing in my life that has ever happened to me. XXX XXX. I ended up feeling very upset. Everything overflowed, terrified that we might not get Madeline back. I simply cannot face that. Tears, despair, rage, helplessness. I spoke to Jerry, recited prayers. Please God, bring her back. XX. I fell asleep after 1 a.m. Wow. Okay, Monday, June 18. I spent a few lovely hours with Sean and Emily building a sandcastle with a moat, getting big hugs from Sean, ice creams, shower, lovely meal, and a little playtime with the kids. But as night closes in, Kate's anguish returns. I can't stand living like this. It's so painful and distressing. Dear Lord, please answer our prayers. Please send Madeline back to us. Please. I love you so, so much, Madeline, more than anything. XXX, XXX. Tuesday, June 19. Last night I didn't manage to get to sleep until around 1 a.m. because I was so upset again. It's so painful to be without Madeline, and I can't stand to think that it could be like this forever. This simply cannot happen. Normally, this is just my opinion. If you are a parent of a missing child, I don't think that you would say something like, I can't stand to think that it could be like this forever. I think that usually a parent would be hopeful that the child would be returning tomorrow, for example, the next day. But I don't think that they would be thinking about forever, like never. I don't know. Good night, Madeline. I'm longing to read your bedtime story again. I love you, my little darling. X. Miss Jansky is saying she talks about showering a lot. I know, right? It's so strange. I know. Why would you even mention that so many times? Like showering. Like, what's the point of that? I don't know. I don't get it. Do you normally write down that you're showering in a diary or a journal, or, however you say it? Yes, Miss Jansky. I find this odd. I was so upset again, as if it's just now and then. I would be upset all the time. Exactly, yeah. And it's also strange that she sometimes highlights this and then sometimes she's not saying anything at all. Okay, let's see more comments on here. Miss Jansky is saying Peter Hyatt says he can be connected to abuse. It can be. I don't disagree. Hello, chats with Chef JJ. God bless you. They have it all. The Wayback Machine, NSA. They will all go to jail for whatever their crimes were. There is way more to this than meets the eye. John Podesta, MI6, etc. I wouldn't exclude anything, honestly. Annie is saying baptism. She's Catholic, so washing away this stress scene. Oh, that might be the case, yes. I'm not Catholic, I'm Orthodox. But yeah, I forgot where we left. Something with X. One X only. Oh, yes, I love you, my little darling. So, Wednesday, June 20th, there is still no sign of Madeline. I didn't feel like it, so I decided not to go running. Went to pick up Jerry from the airport. It was so good to see him. Just before we reached the apartment, we saw a man lying in the middle of the street, so we stopped the car and got out. It was no surprise to see that he was drunk. We've all been there. But he recognized Jerry and me immediately. Jerry walked him around to his apartment. What an odd thing to add into your diary. Thursday, June 21st. I went to the church around 9:20 p.m. to pray a bit by myself in peace. I got a bit annoyed. I don't understand why God doesn't answer my prayers. I think I need a sign of some sort. I miss her so much. It's so painful, and I don't feel my life is complete. And I won't ever feel it's complete if she doesn't come home. Jerry came down later on to be with me. Apart from a glass of wine, chocolate, and this diary, there's nothing much else to tell. I love you, Madeline. Good night, good night. XXX. Oh, Miss Jansky. Oh my God, I can't speak any longer. Sorry, guys. Miss Jansky, the mentioning of washing, cleaning teeth, showers, baths is often a red flag in language analysis. Yes, this could be the case. I don't know a lot when it comes to language analysis, as I haven't really, you know, attempt analyzing language so much. So, but it can very well be, yeah, a red flag. Washing, cleaning teeth, showers, baths. I can see it, yeah. So we are here now, Friday, June 22nd. I miss Madeline loads, and that's a real understatement. Sometimes I think I must have done something so bad. Then Kate recalls the IVF treatment she needed to get pregnant. It was so difficult and painful trying to have Madeline, and now this. Really? I don't see the point of her bringing up that it was so difficult and painful trying to have her. I think that any other parent would be more than grateful, and they would probably don't even remember or think about being so difficult or painful, right? Why? Bad luck, a sick joke. And then I think I don't want to think about me. I'm an adult, but Madeline, dear, sweet, vulnerable, beautiful Madeline. And I just feel like screaming. Why? Dear Lord, I continue to ask, continue to hope, continue to try and have faith in you. Please help us. Put an end to this nightmare. Please help Madeline. Please, Lord. So the first thing that she says is, please help us to put an end to the nightmare, and only after, please help Madeline. Oh gosh. Oh, where is my mouse? Annie, I'm gonna try to find the comment again. Oh yes, here it is. Chat with Chef JJ. Can you see it now? Yes, and it was more medical rather than physical, obviously. So it's again, I don't see the point of her mentioning that really. So I think that this is the comment you meant, right? Okay, guys, you know what we will do? I'm gonna leave this comment on the screen, Annie, for you. And I'm gonna take a 5-minute break. I really need some water. I don't have any more left in my bottle. And yeah, I'll be back in 5 minutes. I'm gonna pause this and I'm going to close the screen for a bit. And guys, if you want, take a break, have some coffee, tea, water, whatever you want. See you in a bit. Sorry, guys, I took a bit longer. Um, yeah, I had to change my glasses as well because for some reason I don't understand. So both of these glasses, they are the same prescription, right? These ones, I'm okay with them. These ones, they make me feel dizzy and like going sideways. I don't know why. Okay, I'm hoping that the comment was on the screen long enough for you. And and I had some coffee as well. I felt like I'm gonna fall asleep. And I'm gonna put this on the screen again. Okay, here it is. So we are left at unbearable. Madeline, I love you with all my heart. You are part of my being, and I will never feel whole without you. I hope and pray for the day, hopefully soon, when we will be reunited and together again forever. I miss you so much. I need you. I love you. 10,000 X's. Now, this paragraph here, it kind of seems to me like that Kate is talking about after death, that they will be again forever and reunited. Not that Madeline is coming back. But this is what I'm taking from this. Anyway, moving on to Saturday, June 23rd. I woke up after 7 a.m. hesitating again about going running, but eventually I built up enough enthusiasm to convince Jerry that we should go. He ran quite well, and without a doubt, it was worth us going. Okay, I have a question because this running is always being mentioned here. So my question is, when they are both going running, who is looking after the kids? Who is looking after Sean and Emily? Are they always left alone? And if they are left alone, did they do the same thing in England as well? Because I assume since they are going running, it's a kind of a routine to go running every morning and maybe running together as well. So if they were running together as well in England, did they leave the kids alone? This is something that just popped into my mind now because she's always mentioning about running. Okay, carrying on. Will we see her again one day? How can this end well now? She's so precious. God, I need you to do something soon. I'm so desperate and suffering so much. This evening, I felt quite low again. It's the awful uncertainty, helplessness, and worry. It's really unbearable. I only want to be able to hide or hibernate until this is all over and Madeline is back. Please make sure she's okay. The usual dinner, a few drinks, and emails. Good night. Good night, my darling. Longing to lie down. This is another weird thing to me. Anyway, Sunday, June 24th. Oh, Madeline, I find the nights so difficult, and only God knows how things are going to find you. I just want to say once again that you have been the most special and amazing thing that ever happened to me. I've never felt such love for another person. I hope and I trust that God and Mary are protecting you, and I only know that Dad and I and all your wonderful family and friends will continue to search for you, and we all long for the day when you will be back with us again. Forever. XX. So bizarre. It really, I don't know, it kind of sends chills down my spine when I'm reading this. Good night, darling. I love you. I don't know how many X is there. I'm stuck on this Sunday, June 24th. Oh, Madeline, I find the night so difficult, and only God knows how things are going to find you. I just want to say once again that you have been the most special and amazing thing that ever happened to me. Hmm. Does this seem like somebody who's written this out of guilt, and perhaps somebody who keeps on wanting to emphasize and highlight the fact that they love their child so very much that they need to have it written down for whoever is going to check, just to make sure that they will say, oh, yes, she loved her daughter. Tuesday, June 26th. I went for a short walk to the shops nearby. I had heard that there was a PDF there. Nice, isn't it? If people informed us about these criminals, of course, we'd be more cautious and we'd feel safer. Okay. Unfortunately, I read two books of messages that had been delivered. There were three horrible ones. One from a former Met police officer, very insensitive, cruel, and far from constructive. Another said, RIP Maddie. How appalling. You say that it's appalling, but you are the one who writes in the diary constantly about Madeline being dead. Well, not surprisingly, I was very upset and I went out to the rocks on the beach. I cried a lot and spoke to Madeline and to God. I was still not ready to go, but Jerry was calling me. The police had arrived as planned at the apartment. I calmed down and went to the meeting with the police. Everything seems to be so slow. We finished at around 7 p.m., so I went to be with the kids and tell them bedtime stories. I had dinner, had a few drinks, despite having said I wanted it without alcohol. We talked some more. My darling Madeline, I feel such fear and dread when I think of you. Every day and every night is too much. I can only have hope and trust in God and Mary to look after you and bring you back to us soon. Monday, July the 2nd, the day the Mccanns had to move from the Ocean Club apartment to a rented house. I started to put everything in the suitcases, and then I took Sean and Emily to the kids' club around 9:20, and then I came back to pack the cases. We moved everything to the house around 10:30. Although now I think that it is a good thing to move to the house with a bit more privacy, everything feels wrong and painful without Madeline. I cannot believe that this has happened. She is so loving, and I desperately want her back. Sean and Emily appeared very excited about the new house, especially with regard to their room. After lunch on the terrace, Jerry filled the jacuzzi with cold water, and the children enjoyed themselves immensely in their swimming pool. I went to look for Chinese food for four. Oh dear Madeline, where are you? Are you nearby? Please keep well and be strong, my little one. We are desperate to find you. We love you very much. You are so special. I long to give you the biggest hug in the world. I miss you so much. I love you so much, my dear Madeline. Thursday, July the 5th. I got up at 7:15. Jerry went for a run. Nothing is or will be as good again without Madeline. I'm thinking about you a lot, dearest Madeline. I'm praying a lot so that we find you soon, alive and unharmed. Stay strong. You know that we all love you very, very, very much. Six X's, or is it five? Five. Friday, July the 6th. The day a man was arrested in Holland for a cruel hoax intended to extort 1.3 million pounds from the McCanns in return for details of the kidnappers and Madeline's location. I wrote my emails and finished our statement for when the story broke about the Dutchman's extortion near lunchtime. He is 39, unemployed, says that he was bored and wanted to play with our emotions. Bastard. David Miliband, the new foreign secretary, phoned Jerry to offer support. Saturday, July the 7th. We had breakfast and got the children ready as usual. At 10:30, the four of us went to the Algarve shopping center. So very surprising that they are not at the Ocean Club anymore. Oh, but yes, they are not at the hotel anymore, so probably that's why. The plan was to buy sandals and some other things for the children. However, the journey was a disaster. We had to stop three times on the way there since Sean and Emily were crying alternately. I began to feel that it had been a wasted day, even though Sean and Emily had some good goes in Noddy's car and Papa's boat. The return journey was slightly more bearable. I had a moment while we were having lunch. I saw a woman who looked pregnant, and I began to think about when I was pregnant with Sean and Emily. And then it hit me. Kate then remembers a touching scene from the past. Madeline was coming to visit us later that evening. The look of wonder on her face, and afterwards she got in beside me in bed. She was and is so adorable, a real jewel, a real gift, and I painfully miss her. Miss Jansky is asking when was this written and why has it been made public? Right, so this diary was written in July after Madeline went missing. But the first entry in the diary is actually from May the 3rd, but it's written. Is the Kate started writing in July only, and apparently it was at the advice of the psychologist, right? Why was it made public? It was made public because I believe that Kate was the one who gave it to News of the World. I'm not quite sure. I did read. Okay, hold on a second here. Let me go on a separate tab. Let me see, because I read it at the beginning of this live, but I forgot. So I'm going to share another tab with you. Can you see it? So, on 14th of September 2008, the News of the World published extracts from Kate's diary. The newspaper claimed that the 135-page journal written on an A4 pad had been passed to them by a Portuguese reporter. When it became apparent that Kate had not given authorization for the release, the online article was instantly removed. Both The Sun and the News of the World published apologies and made an undisclosed payment to Madeline's fund. Portugal's best-selling daily newspaper, Correio da Manhã, had already serialized the extracts from the diary during July 2008 without comment from the Mccanns. So, yeah, excuse me. And I read somewhere else. Let me have a look again about how it came to be. Right, I found it. I found it. I read this a bit earlier in this live, but I forgot what I was reading. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to share with you this bit here. So from here down. So PJ went to London to fetch diary. Kate McCann's diary, which is considered to be fundamental by the investigators due to the fact that it reveals the profile of Madeline's mother, led the PJ to England to try and apprehend it, but it was never validated as evidence, and the process ended up being archived. The document, which started to be written by Kate upon advice from a psychiatrist after her daughter's disappearance, was discovered by the police in the Ocean Club apartment in the Algarve and was initially photocopied and analyzed. But it was only in April, during their last trip to England, that the PJ was granted permission to formally apprehend the original document, a fundamental diligence that had been requested in September so it could be valued as evidence. But the judge that held the process decided to postpone the validation of the diary, which therefore could not be taken into account within the PJ's investigation. And in the meantime, the public ministry ended up archiving the case. The authorities believed that Kate's notes revealed her personality and therefore were determinant for the investigation, but they ended up never being able to use them as evidence. Initially, the police only appended the copies of the document to the process, and the original was not apprehended because it juridically fitted within the concept of private correspondence, which is subject to a stricter regime. Meanwhile, the Mccanns returned to the UK, which forced the PJ to request the apprehension of the diary through rogatory letters, which took months to receive a reply. So that's how it came about with this diary. Again, it's not clear who gave it to the reporter who first published these extracts, but the extracts were all over newspapers in Spain, Portugal, England even. So yeah, at one point it was public. Elizabeth, hi Elizabeth, she's saying diaries are usually meant to be private. This one was meant to be read and made public. Miss Jansky is saying, but when Sean and Emily were born, Madeline would still have been a baby herself. So the part about her getting in bed with Kate doesn't ring true. Exactly, yeah, because Kate did say that when she was pregnant. Yeah. Miss Jansky is also saying those publications didn't just steal it. She must have made it available to them. I do, you know what? I do agree with you, if I'm honest. Having read that about the News of the World paying compensation to the McCanns, there was the other bit which said that there were previous newspapers which published extracts from the diary, but Kate never took any legal action against them. It was only against the News of the World. So, you know, and I think that she must have made it available because the way this diary was written, it was written in a way for people to read rather than you writing down your thoughts, really. Annie is saying all part of the street theater. I agree with you. I agree with you. Where was I in terms of here, the page that we have on our screens? So, did I read Saturday, July the 7th? Let me see. Oh, yeah, when they went to the Algarve shopping center and the kids were constantly crying. Did I read this part? I have been thinking a lot about you today, Madeline. I'm so worried and frightened for you. I can only hope that God has you in his hands and brings you back to us soon. Please, my God, help us. Help Madeline. We love her and we need her so much, and she loves us and needs us. Please, please, please make it so that we have some good news soon. Good night, darling. I love you. I can hardly wait to say see you tomorrow. 10,000 X's. Okay, we are now here on Thursday, July 12th. I hate the person who took my Madeline, the same one who has caused all this trouble, who made us feel worthless and mistrustful, and mainly who has frightened my beautiful Madeline. I will never forgive that person, those people for this, never. Today I washed the cuddle cat, Madeline's favorite soft toy, and the constant comfort to heartbroken Kate. I was hoping not to have to do it until Madeline returns, but it was now quite dirty and smelly. Unfortunately, without the smell of Madeline on it. I can't believe that she washed Cuddle Cat. Ah, you made a good point here, Annie. Let me put this up. Her real diary would have all kinds of shorthand, etc. I'm sure with her medical training, she writes in doctor's script. Another very good point. Tuesday, July 17. Finding it very difficult to talk to people from home unless they are directly involved. It's difficult to show an interest in other people's lives and children at the moment. I know it sounds horrible, selfish, and egocentric, but at the moment, I can only think about Madeline. I don't want to hear about anyone having babies or getting pregnant, mainly because it was all so very difficult for us. I'm worried about turning into a bitter, angry woman. That would be horrible. Please, God, bring Madeline back and let this nightmare end. Please don't let our lives be destroyed by this. Please don't let them hurt Madeline. Earlier today, I found Emily in our room looking at photos of Madeline, and she said, I miss my sister. Where is my sister? I couldn't believe it. I didn't realize Emily's vocabulary and use of words was so good. I just said, I miss her too. We'll find her soon. What a little sweetheart. She then turned her attention to something else. So, up until then, she didn't realize that her vocabulary was so good and the use of words, even though they live in the same place, right? And they're always together. She just now realized. We took turns jumping into the water with the kids, which was great fun. After a DVD and a story, it was the twins' bedtime, which didn't take too long tonight. Madeline, we are all with you, darling. Keep strong, be patient. We'll keep on going till we find you. I love you so much. We hope and pray we'll see you soon. Good night, my darling. 10,000 X's. Wednesday, July 18. It was suggested that Madeline is dead and buried in an area close to the beach, behind a cliff. What can I say? I feel my body is on the verge of collapse. How much pain and emotion can one body take? I had a bad afternoon. I was very worried, desperate, extremely on edge. I don't think I can take any more of this. I really can't. How much longer will this suffering go on? I need Madeline alive. But you don't remember that you, as parents, were the first ones to suggest that she died? Saturday, July 21st. I continue to feel very low. I miss Madeline so much. It's as if a ray of light has disappeared from my life. There is no doubt that Madeline is that ray, and I miss her more than words can say. We just wrote our blogs, diaries. Once again, those dark thoughts returned, linked with feelings of anxiety, fear, and worry. How much longer will we have to cope with this pain? My poor, poor Madeline. Why, Lord? My heart aches with so much love for you, Madeline. I just hate being without you. Kate then relieves the last time they saw Madeline in the Ocean Club apartment. Okay, hi, ZIPT. The diary extracts conveniently left behind, like the camera on the coffee table. Gerald's blog also conveniently initiated after Madeline's abduction. Abduction. Hi, Amberloni. Amberloni saying the abductor teach her. Teach who? Which abductor? If I could go back in time, I would. I have clear recollections of that night. You were so tired. After your baths, you sat on my knee and put my wedding ring on your finger. We, me, you, Sean, and Emily, read Mog in the living area. And then, if you're happy and you know it, we all sat down on your bed. Did she really have to put in the brackets me, you, Sean, and Emily? Then you counted the squares on the last page. You are always counting things on pages, always laying your head on your pillow at the same time every night. Madeline, you make me so happy. I just want you home. I love you so much. XXX, XXX. Monday, July 23rd. I got up at 7 and went running. I was surrounded by a pack of dogs, more or less 12. It really wasn't a nice experience. I went to the flat, high part of the cliff. I went to the flat, high part of the cliff as I felt really alone and a little frightened. Please, God, don't let Madeline be buried here. Please, God, make sure she's alive. Please, God, bring her back quickly to us. Another embedded confession, might I say, just like in her book. What? Oh, I keep on knocking the bottle. Okay. Again, she is suggesting that Madeline could be buried there. I mean, why would you say that? Why would you even think that precisely there she would be buried, right? Next. I took Sean and Emily to the kids club at 9:45. Then I went to church to pray a little on my own. Every single moment of happiness with Sean and Emily, who are both so delightful, is mixed with deep sadness. All I want is Madeline to be safe and happy again. Baths, stories, and some bedtime chaos from Sean and Emily before I finally put them to bed at 21:15. Amber only is saying writing and publishing a book is too deliberate and thought out to be an unconscious confession. Sorry, guys, give me just 1 second. I'm going to mute my microphone for a sec. Sorry, guys, it was my husband. He really wanted to get into the kitchen, and the door behind me is the door to the kitchen. So I muted my microphone to tell him that he can go. Okay, let's see. Annie, what is Annie saying? I wonder if Kate, with this narrative in this diary, might she be speaking to certain types of people? It's a weird scenario. It it sounds like that, doesn't it? It's very weird. And again, it's kind of like the same thing as with her book. Where was I? Oh, yes. But stories and some bedtime chaos from Sean and Emily before I finally put them to bed at 21:15. I spent some time on the internet reading about Sarah Payne, Roy Withing, Elizabeth Smart, Brian Mitchell, and the Peter Voicey case. He abducted a 6-year-old girl from the bath in North Tyneside. Really horrible. Night, night, sweetheart. I'm trying to be so positive. I need to be because I need to believe that you're going to come back to me so I can go back to being truly happy. I love you. XXX. What do those cases have anything to do with anything really? Tuesday, July 24th. Sean and Emily had lots of fun in the jacuzzi. Laughter galore. Carrot sticks and crisps were had by all at tea time. Oh, darling Madeline, it pains me to think of you. It causes me such sorrow, and I have no idea how you feel. I pray to God that you are well, that you are not hurt. I pray that God keeps you safe and sound, and that you are not afraid nor in pain. Please, God, answer my prayers, and please, please, please bring Madeline back to us very soon for our own happiness. Please, God. Madeline, sweetheart, I love you so much. I can't stop saying it. Night, night, darling. We will keep hoping and having faith in God. Again, 10,000 X's. Okay, we got to the restless beat. Wednesday, July 25th. I received some bad news last night. A friend has breast cancer and has just received her first dose of chemotherapy following surgery. Horrible. I will include her in my prayers. At around 3:30 p.m., I went for a run. I had begun to feel restless and worried about Madeline. It was hot and hard work, but I felt better for having gone. We returned at around 6:15 p.m., the children's dinner and baths, our dinner, and the children's once again. Madeline, sweetheart, you are the most important thing, the only thing that matters. Words cannot describe how I feel about you, nor how restless, tormented, alone, sad, and incomplete I feel. I will continue to hope and pray that you come back to us soon, but I don't want to think about how good it would be to feel something like that. Not yet, at least. I love you so, so much, darling. I remember sitting watching you through the glass window when you were having your swimming lessons on a Saturday morning. There you were with your yellow swimsuit, ever so pretty, and you were smiling and waving at me, and the tears rolled down my face. I was and am still so proud of you, Madeline, and my love for you is never ending. I can't stop saying how much I love you dearly. I'm going to try and stay strong for you, and you have to do the same. You know we love you, and we are going to keep going until we find you again. All my love, Madeline. Night night. Sleep well. May God protect you. XXXXX. This feels like a letter, like writing a letter to somebody. Amber only is saying they made a lot of money with this book, right? The extracts that I'm reading here are from Kate's diary. Her book is different. I can't read her book because of copyright issues, and they made it clear on their Facebook page that you can be held legally liable if you try to read from her book. But yes, they did make a lot of money from the book, from her book, and they are still making a lot of money from the book. Bernadette, how could she put the two babies in the crash at the very place her little girl has gone missing from? I know, right? And she keeps doing it, and she keeps taking the keys to this kids club. And at the same time, she's saying that she doesn't want to be without them in her diary and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Yet she's still sending them there, even though she's not really doing anything, as in going to work or anything like that. Amber only is asking, so where did this diary come from? Is it from the police? I just a bit earlier I clarified this. This is This diary was published, extracts from the diary were published in the News of the World newspaper and in a couple of other newspapers from Spain and Portugal as well, and I believe England as well, apart from News of the World. And then they had to get rid of the pages in the newspapers because Kate McCann sued News of the World and she got compensation. But the thing was that the Portuguese police, was trying to get the diary into evidence because it showed Kate's personality, but the judge disagreed. However, it was already added in the case's files, but then the case was archived. And the story is that apparently the diary came from a reporter. The diary was first found by the police in the hotel room, or yeah, I think so. Yeah. But allegedly, apparently, it came from a reporter, but I think that we can all kind of agree that it was Kate who gave the diary. It's only because of the way that this diary is written. It's written for somebody. It's not written for herself. Okay, so is it Saturday, July 28th? Yeah. So Saturday, July 28th, I got up at 7:30 after a late and disturbed night of sleep. At around 4:20 p.m., we had a dip in the jacuzzi. Sean and Emily loved it. After tea, I went to the small church. I was a little tearful. It's really hard for me not to worry about the small things. I wonder, does anyone brush her teeth? She looked so happy in that photo taken on that last day. I know I'm repeating myself, but I can't stop myself from saying how much I love you, Madeline. I'll say it as many times as I need to. You are so, so special. XXXXX. Brushing her teeth? Is that what she's wondering about? If somebody's brushing Madeline's teeth? Okay. Tuesday, July 31st. The day before police seized the diary. I got up early after another late and very disturbed night. I dropped by the church. I feel better after these short conversations. I cooked my first meal since they took Madeline for dinner tonight. Please, God, make me right. Please, God, protect her. Please, God, bring her back to us soon. Night, night, Madeline, my dearest little angel, my sweetheart, my darling, my love, my companion. I love you more than anything. Lots of hugs, my darling. I'm going to dream that I'm lying by your side. Moments I'll always cherish and I long to have again. Sweet dreams, my little one. Be strong, mommy. XXXXX. Pope was so gentle and so sincere. Devout Catholic Kate's nerves were on edge as she and Jerry prepared to meet the Pope at the Vatican on May 30th. On May 28th, Kate wrote in her diary, I felt somewhat concerned. This is going to be a little too much. I only want Madeline back and to return to our normal life. Yeah, a little too much, but she already knew that this is going to happen. It's not like somebody forced her to do that. 2 days later, her diary recalls Pope Benedict the 16 arrived in his Pope mobile, waving to everyone. It immediately became clear that he recognized us. He took hold of our hands and he was so gentle and sincere. I thanked him for having allowed us to be there with him. He said he would pray for us and that he would continue to pray for Madeline and for her safe return. I gave him the photo of Madeline. He blessed it with a thumb, something that we would be able to keep forever. A shy man, but very friendly. Very emotional, very positive, very important, charming. Please, God, bring back to us little Madeline. We love her so much and we miss her so much. Please, Lord, help us to be united once again, shortly as a family. Later on, Clarence, Foreign Office family liaison told me that before meeting the Pope, a butterfly had flown above and had landed on the bow on my hair. What does that have to do with anything? Following on, he left, but he came back and landed on my lapel. An omen, we hope. Oh, I feel like pulling my hair out. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next article. Who is Amanda in Kate's diary? Amanda would appear to be a friend of Kate's from the Rothley area, referenced in the Independent article of 10th of September 2007. At the Mccann's house, they were friends on hand to help them pass what must already seem like endless hours and deal with the enormity of what they have experienced. It's just good to have them back, said one friend, Amanda. We are going to rally around as much as we can, and whatever Kate and Jerry need, we'll be there for them. Kate McCann's secret diary. How can I go on knowing Madeline's life could have ended like this? This is from 14th of September 2008. The article is written by Daily Mail and it goes like this. Kate McCann's deepest thoughts have been laid bare in a private journal documenting her darkest days following the disappearance of daughter Madeline. Bleak thoughts of PDFs, frustration at the PJ, and the daily struggle to keep the rest of her family together are just some of the frank and painful admissions penned between April and July 2007. The secret diary reveals for the first time the depth of personal despair and heartbreak faced by Kate and Jerry and the strength their Catholic faith has given them. By the way, I'm quite sure that you guys won't be able to find these articles any longer. I think that this kind of websites, such as Jerry McCann's blogs, are the very few where there is some kind of proof left of these articles, if you will, because all of the links in on this page, I did actually check to see if they work, but they don't work anymore. And even when you Google case diaries, newspapers, or newspaper articles, you can't really find them on Google anymore. At the height of the smear campaign against the McCanns, Portuguese investigators made extracts from Kate's diary public, deliberately selected in a bid to portray the couple as cold and dispassionate. So this article is claiming that it was the PJ who made this public, the diary. However, the full context of the journal has now been revealed in the news of the world. The diary starts while Madeline is still with the family, detailing the ordinary routine of family life. On the day Madeline disappeared, the diary entry documents the children's bedtime at the apartment in Praia da Luz, where the family were staying. Kate reveals how she gave her children milk and biscuits before reading Madeline a bedtime story. It goes on to say, kisses goodnight for Madeline. Pulled the door to as far as possible without shutting it. Silence, dry hair, put makeup on, glass of wine, restaurant. Kate and Jerry then left the children alone and asleep to dine with friends. Just hours later, Madeline was gone, believed to have been snatched from the apartment. On May the 4th, the day after Madeline's disappearance, Kate documents the couple's first visit to the police station after a frantic night of searching. She says, nobody from the police introduced themselves. Nobody offered us a drink or food. All the police dressed informally and smoking. No sympathy was shown and far from inspiring. Excuse me. So I'm here, guys, if you are following on the screen. In the days after Madeline's disappearance, Kate talks of the couple's desperation and the struggle to remain strong for their two other children, twins Sean and Emily. She also reveals how the couple put on a presentable and healthy air when facing the press, and how the family marked Madeline's fourth birthday on May 12th with a special mass at the church in Praia da Luz. However, on May 30th, after nearly 4 weeks since their daughter went missing, Kate's inner turmoil threatens to overwhelm her. She says, tomorrow it will be 4 weeks since Madeline was taken. 4 weeks since we saw our special little girl. We are not certain we will ever see her again, but know that we have to keep our hope and strength. For the others, at least, exhausted. I love you so much, Madeline. You must come back. Just 2 days later, her thoughts became darker. On June the 1st, she writes, can't stop thinking about Madeline, about her fear and pain. How can I go on knowing that her life could have ended like this? This week, I have been quite overtaken by black thoughts. Please, God, bring her back. The month of June documents the McCann's attempts to retain some element of normal life for the sake of Sean and Emily. They go for the occasional jog, spend time playing with the twins, but Madeline is constantly in their thoughts. Any feeling of joy, however small, is tinged with guilt and regret that Madeline is not there to share in it too. I'm here, guys. How can this end well now? Kate reveals how she wrote to J.K. Rowling for helping keeping Madeline's plight in the public eye and how thoughts of PDFs made her want to tear at my own skin. She tells how both Gordon and Tony Blair, along with wife Sherry or Cherry, phoned the couple to offer their support. This was also around the time that the McCanns were subjected to the beginnings of a smear campaign by the Portuguese police, who claimed fundamental evidence had been lost because the crime scene had been contaminated by the McCanns themselves. Throughout the diary, the depth of the McCann's Catholic faith is evident and shows how he has given them strength. Entries are littered with pleas to God and detailing their frequent visits to Mass. Kate also reflects on the difficulties she had in conceiving Madeline, recalling the IVF treatment. Her entries are scattered with signs that the couple are losing hope. Do you guys notice that any English newspaper is talking about them in a positive light in comparison to newspapers from other countries? On June 23rd, she writes, will we ever see her again? How can this end well now? She's so precious, God. I need you to do something soon. I'm so desperate and suffering so much. During that month, Kate talks of how she received 2 books of messages from the public. While the majority of the messages were supportive, she was shocked by 3 horrible messages. One which simply said, "Rip Madeline," and another which was written by a former police officer. As time goes on, the diary becomes less about documenting the couple's struggle and more of a tool to communicate with her daughter. How did they spin it? Tool to communicate with Madeline. More and more messages to Madeline appear in the entries, and Kate also talks of her difficulties maintaining relationships with friends from home, with the exception of those directly involved in the case. Today, I watched Cuddle Cat. I still can't believe that. I was hoping not to do until Madeline returns. On July 12th, Kate reveals her deep hatred for the person who took Madeline and the significant moment she had to wash the youngster's favorite toy, Cuddle Cat, which still had on it the faint scent of her daughter. She said, I hate the person who took my Madeline, the same one who has caused all this trouble, who made us feel worthless and mistrustful, and mainly who has frightened my beautiful Madeline. I'll never forgive that person, those people for this. Never. Today I washed Cuddle Cat. I was hoping not to do it until Madeline returns, but it was now quite dirty and smelly. Unfortunately, without the smell of Madeline on it. Yes, yes, Amber only is insane, completely insane. It's shocking. I can't believe it. I really can't. It's like you have the last thing that your kid touched before they went missing and you wash it. It's it's insane. And he's saying sounds narcissistic. Yes, yes, that's the word. Yes, I agree. Where was I? Because I have been taken aback by Cuddle Cat. Oh, yes. That month, the couple are also faced with the harsh reality that their daughter might be dead when it's suggested that Madeline is buried by a cliff. And who exactly is this suggested by? By Kate McCann in the diary. Kate continues to document the torment of losing Madeline while trying to keep a normal family life for Sean and Emily. In her last entry on July 31st, before her diary was seized by the Portuguese police, she said, "My sweetheart, my darling, my love, my companion, I love you more than anything. I'm going to dream that I'm lying by your side. Moments I'll always cherish and I long to have again." So the following bit down here is a rewrite of the above article, and I don't know. Let me see what was the date of this first one. So this was on 14th of September, and the rewrite was on 15th of September. So I'm not sure that there is anything that I haven't read already. Yeah, they are just adding the bits about a month after her daughter's disappearance. She describes how thinking about PDFs makes me want to tear at my own skin. She adds, "I was never in favor of the death penalty, but these people should be kept in a secure place. Whose human rights are more important? Those of a PDF or of a vulnerable, defenseless child?" And here is another article, this time written on 15th of September 2008 by The Telegraph. Do they say anything extra? Okay, I'm just gonna read it since I'm reading it anyway. Amber only is asking, was it washed before the dogs? I think that yes, it was washed before the dogs. As far as I remember, but please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. And I might add that, in my opinion, it was washed on purpose to get rid of evidence, allegedly, potentially. Right. This article by The Telegraph is written by Richard Edwards, who is a crime reporter. The entries reveal frustration at the Portuguese police from the very start of their investigation, her darkest thoughts and fears, and her daily desperate pleas to God for her prayers to be answered. At the height of the smear campaign against the Mccanns, Portuguese investigators made extracts from the diary public, deliberately selected in a bid to portray the couple as cold and dispassionate. The full context of the journal, however, written in an A4 pad, have been revealed in a tabloid newspaper after being leaked by a Portuguese reporter. On the night of May the 3rd, when Madeline went missing from their apartment in Praia da Luz, and early the following morning, Kate suggests that no police were helping in the search. The diary says, "No sleep. Jerry and I started looking through the streets at 6 a.m. as it was starting to get light. Nobody around. Why not?" Desperate. She said that when she finally talked to the detectives, they were unsympathetic and far from inspiring. Quote unquote. Kate signs every entry off with a personal message of her love for Madeline, but admits that with each night it became harder to go to bed without her. On June the 1st, she writes, "Can't stop thinking about Madeline, about her fear and pain." How can I go on knowing that her life could have ended like this? This week I have been quite overtaken by black thoughts. Please God, bring her back. Again, this is another media. What am I talking about? Oh yeah, again, this is another news article which is kind of repeating the same quotes as in the other articles from Daily Mail and so on and so forth, kind of like showing her in a positive light. The next day she writes, cried in bed, I can't avoid it. I need her close to me. Thinking about her fear of pain breaks my heart. Thinking about PDFs makes me want to tear at my own skin. And it goes on to say that the diary also reveals how she wrote to J.K. Rowling and the conversation with Gordon Brown, Tony Blair, his wife, and David Miliband. Now we are moving on to the following article, 19th of September 2008. This is from Daily Mirror. Kate McCann, furious at publication of diary in Sunday tabloid Daily Mirror. Kate McCann was last night said to be devastated by the unauthorized publication of her diary in a down-market Sunday newspaper. Her diary was seized and photocopied by Portuguese police 3 months after daughter Madeline, then 3, vanished. Extracts appeared in the paper without Kate or hubby Jerry's prior knowledge or permission last weekend. A pal said last night, Kate is angry and upset. She's furious. Her innermost feelings have been revealed. Worse still, it looks as if she has consented. Because of its sensitive nature, the material was not included in 19 files made public by prosecutors. The friend added, the suspicion is these diaries have been leaked by someone in the Portuguese authorities. Lawyers for the McCanns are thought to be demanding an apology and payout for the Find Madeline Fund. The McCanns will not comment, and as we are already aware, a payout was made to the Find Madeline Fund by News of the World for an undisclosed sum. Moving on to the following article from 19th of September 2008, this time by The Sun, and is titled Kate McCann, an Apology. The article headed Kate's Secret Diary Revealed, which we ran this week, stated that Kate McCann had released entries from her diary to the News of the World. This is incorrect. The extracts from Kate's diary were published by the News of the World in the mistaken, albeit bona fide, belief that they had her permission to do so, whereas Kate neither approved of nor knew that the extracts were to be published. We sincerely apologize to Kate for our error and for the distress caused by it. And this is the apology from The Sun. Moving on to the following article from 20th of September 2008, this time from News of the World. Another apology. Last week, we published extracts from Kate McCann's diaries and explained in the article that we were doing so to nail the lies about Kate created by selective leaking from the diaries by Portuguese police. We published the extracts in the belief, held in good faith, that we had Kate's permission to do so. It's now clear that our belief was misplaced and that, in fact, Kate neither approved of nor knew that the extracts were to be published. Upon learning of our error, we immediately removed the extracts from our website and we today offer Kate our immediate and sincere apologies. We have agreed to make a donation to be used in the search for Madeline. The News of the World remains wholly supportive of the McCanns and their continuing campaign to find their daughter. Voila, there you go. Another article here, another apology from 21st of September 2008, and this time the apology is from Sky News. Paper's apology over Kate's diary. The News of the World has apologized to Kate McCann for publishing extracts. The Sunday tabloid also said he had made a donation to the fund set up to find her missing daughter. So it wasn't only News of the World, it was also the Sun. Okay, great. Last week's edition devoted the lead story and 4 other pages to revealing the 40-year-old's black thoughts and her dreams of lying beside Madeline again. Extracts were printed after the diary was seized and then leaked by Portuguese detectives investigating the 3-year-old disappearance in Praia da Luz on May the 3rd last year. The paper's 6-paragraph apology on the second page of this week's edition says, "We published the extracts in the belief held in good faith that we had Kate's permission to do so. It's now clear that our belief was misplaced and that in fact Kate neither approved of nor knew the extracts were to be published. Upon learning of our error, we immediately removed the extracts from our website and we today offer Kate our immediate and sincere apologies." The tabloid's sister paper, The Sun, also published an apology for the error and for the distress caused by it. A spokesman for the Mccanns was unavailable for comment when contacted by Sky News Online. The size of the donation to the Find Madeline Fund is not known, but is not the first time a newspaper has apologized to the little girl's parents. The Mccanns won a £550,000 libel settlement and apology from Express newspapers for suggesting that they were responsible for Madeline's death. So I guess we can expect some kind of similar donations from these newspapers as well. The Daily Express and Daily Star both carried front page apologies with the headline, "Kate and Jerry McCann. Sorry." There are a couple of bits left here. This is the last one. And then we finish with everything on this page. So 4th of May 2009, the diary. Okay. And this is written by Duarte Levi WordPress, Portuguese, translated by Nigel Moore with thanks to Astro. Kate's diary is one of the most curious pieces of a puzzle that the men of the PJ tried to reconstruct in order to establish the facts surrounding the disappearance of Madeline. The report of the first days spent in Praia da Luz was written after the event and reports a kind of an agenda detailing what the Mccanns and their friends allegedly did. 2 years later, day by day, it's interesting to compare Kate's report with what is known in the process, an exercise that reveals contradictions and surprises in its content. So let's have a look. Saturday, 28th of April 2007. So they arrive at Ocean Club at 3 p.m., apartment 5A, pool, swim with Madeline, meeting with Mark Warner's officials and having a drink, rest, Millennium with the kids, only night, return walk, difficult for kids, bed bath, bed early. Then Sunday 29th, breakfast, Millennium restaurant, question mark, pruning of hedge, morning kids club, then morning talking over coffee. I went along to tennis, lunch sandwiches, F, balcony and Dave, kids club afternoon, seated in deck chairs, FAA, KNG run, beach 4 o'clock, high tea, recreational area, rest, nomad. This seems kind of like a timeline, a schedule, or whatever, just to make sure that everything is written down so that they are covered for everything. Okay, so Monday 30th of April 2007, breakfast, apartment, question mark, apartment cleaning, kids club, tennis, 9:15, 10:15 Kate, 10:15, 11:15 Jerry, question mark, washing machine blinds. I assume is when they said the washing machine broke. Lunch hour, apartment, then balcony, F and Dave, kids club, question mark, beach. 4 p.m. Kate run 25 minutes, 4:30 tennis lessons, high tea. 6:30 tennis night for women, recreational area, afternoon, K&J supermarket, rest everyone. Oh, I apologize. It wasn't the washing machine which broke, was it? If I remember right, they reported the fridge or freezer. Then, going to Tuesday, 1st of May. Breakfast apartment, kids club, mini tennis, 9:15, 10:15 Kate, Jerry 10:15, 11:15, Madeline and Ella, get camera, lunch apartment, rain. So kids club, but then it's crossed over. Then it was beach, sunglasses, ice cream, half one, 3-ish o'clock, kids club, question mark, 3:15, question mark, time not so good, question mark, G tennis lessons, high tea, 4:30, recreational area, restaurant, object tennis, no Russell, Evie felt ill. 5D, Russell remained in apartment, food was brought up. Then we move on to the next day, Wednesday, 2nd of May, breakfast, apartment, question mark, apartment cleaning, rain, kids club, tennis, postponed, wet courts, Millennium, Kate and Jerry, meet Fiona, David, and I don't know what the other D's. 11:30, Kate run with Matt, 40 minutes, get kids, lunch, apartment recreational area, kids club, Jerry tennis, half two to half three. Then we have Kate, half three to half four tennis, question mark tennis lesson, question mark Jerry tennis lesson half four, launching speed, question mark object tennis, high tea, recreational area. Rest, no Rachel, 5B. Palma next door, slightly later bedtime, 24 as in 12 at night, to bar after dinner. Thursday, 3rd of May 2007, the day of the disappearance. Excuse me. This one, I think, is the most detailed one. Yeah, look at that. Look at the difference. I'm just going to scroll before I start reading, but look at the difference. So we have here Wednesday, just a bit. Then before Wednesday, we have Tuesday again, very small, very few details, Monday, Sunday. But then when you go to the day of the disappearance, look at this. Okay. Breakfast apartment, comment, Madeline, where were you when me and S cried? Kids club time, check registration, 9:30 to 12:30, sailing at the beach, wash Madeline's top of pajamas, big stain, lunch, question mark apartment, question mark tea, tennis lesson, 9:15 to 10:15, conversation on the grass with Russell and Nigel, the video camera, question mark minutes of tennis, Kate get Madeline, J and Fiona Scarlett, then pick up S and A, meeting there with G, question mark, balcony, recreational area, okay. Afternoon kids club will be later. Kate, Ella already there, swimming indoors pool. Kate and Jerry, practice tennis, then lesson, and coach then. Half three to half four. Julian appeared, continued to play with Jerry. I went to run to the beach. The rest of the group, they were on the beach. Jerry went to meet the kids for high tea at Tapas. I joined them after running between 20 past 5 and half 5. Strike through text illegible. Madeline very tired and quiet. Since Ella was taken from the kids club beach, I was a little worried that she was sad to have been alone, not realize that the group had gone to the beach. She said she was fine. She asked me to pick her up and said she was tired. I picked her up and carried her to the apartment with J and S and A. Prepared bath as kids tired and men's tennis night at 6. I considered returning to the recreation area with the kids, but decided to stay in the apartment after bath and hair wash. Jerry men's tennis night. B crossed over pajamas, biscuits and milk for the kids. Left them with this and books and games and went to take a quick bath / wash my hair. I got out of the bath and David was knocking on the patio doors. I wrapped myself in a towel and went into the living room. welcoming David in a towel. Brilliant. He asked if we wanted to go to the recreational area since he could help me take the kids. Refused, since kids ready for bed. I dressed myself, ate some snacks with the kids. Madeline tired, sitting on my lap, read story of Mog, brushed teeth, to bedroom with kids. Jerry there too, I think. Children's music, Madeline telling story. Madeline removes and lowers head on pillow. It's very important to write that. Yes. As a schedule, timetable, whatever you want to call it. It's very important to write that Madeline removes and lowers her head on a pillow. S and A, so I assume Sean and Emily, then is crossed over. Goodnight kisses for Madeline. From Sean and Emily, cots times two. Kay, as in Kate, gave a goodnight kiss to Madeline. Leaned the door as much as possible without closing it. Silence. Question mark, dry hair. Makeup. Glass of wine. 20:35 rest. First to arrive. 21. Jerry conversation with Steve. 21:30. Met Caroline. Note, Caroline is a witness who says she heard someone calling Madeline's name around 9:30 as she walked back to her apartment. 10 o'clock, myself. 20:40, Jane next. 20:45, Matt and Rachel. Russell, question mark, detained. Evie feeling sick. R, Russell went for a long time. Jane replaced him. So 3 pages with drawings. This is written in brackets. So I assume that 3 pages is meant as in the whole timetable thing that they wrote. Undated, at the Hilton in Berlin. Scared, wants to return. Fears for her fear. Reality suddenly binds. Never loved anyone this much. Note, this is written in the third person, as in he, she never loved anyone this much. Never again able to be completely happy, enjoy something. I'm sorry to be asking some of these questions, but I'm sure you will understand that our despair, particularly given the lack of information and resulting helplessness, may be somewhat mitigated if he gains some trust. What? So, who is she talking to, or rather, who is she asking or apologizing to? Okay, moving on. The following people were heard: teachers and all other officers of the school across the street from our apartment. All staff working in the Ocean Club Tapas Bar restaurant. The reward that was offered without our knowledge. How is the information from countries other than Portugal and the UK being processed? Is it being handled by local police forces in their countries of origin and then passed on to you? Is there a route for this information? Was significant data collected by experts in mobile phone communications? Inquiries. School okay, tapas restaurant okay, child maintenance okay. Yvonne Warren, not that I know of. I'm having a bit of an issue with understanding what this is. So these are some more notes which were found. Let me go back to the beginning of this. Oh, this is taken from the diary. Okay, I get it. Okay. I kind of got lost in reading this and okay, so we are almost at the end. Robert Murat, evidence, forensic results. Why still under strong suspicion if forensic results were negative? Info relative to Madeline? No. Reward, okay. Route for information from other countries. And having reached the end, this is a translation from English original to Portuguese, the responsibility of the area of documentation and translation of the Policia Judiciaria, with thanks to Nigel at Mccann Files. So, finished. Everything is read now. Oh, this was very long. Okay. Let's catch up on the comments. Wow, it's almost 12 o'clock. Bernadette is asking, I wonder why none of the friends that was on holiday with the Mccanns has ever spoke out on this. Even if, say, for example, that, okay, they were not involved, okay, they were just involved after the fact. So, because they were friends with the Mccanns. You know, at one point, once you get into something without fully realizing the seriousness of the situation, and you start lying and lying and lying to help your friends out, right? And then you realize how deep it goes and how bad it actually is. By that time it's probably too late to pull out, and you have to keep quiet, because otherwise you would get in legal trouble as well. Plus you have to think about their professions as well. They potentially could have lost their licenses, medical licenses. Then on top of that, they are children as well. So there are a lot of different reasons that they could have stayed quiet. Amber only saying if they were to speak, maybe they would sleep. But I think Jane Tanner spoke recently, didn't she? On Netflix or some other recent documentary? Honestly, I'm not sure that Jane Tanner spoke recently or what she spoke about. If you are referring to a Netflix documentary, I'm not sure how unbiased that Netflix documentary really is. So I don't know how much I could trust it. Zip T is saying, on the night before Madeline's disappearance, Jerry invited a sexy, busty girl to their table for some wine. Kate left. The next day at the daycare, she entered her name as Kate Healy in the register. Yes, I remember about that, reading about that somewhere. Yeah, and apparently Jerry was flirting with this woman, and and Kate and Jerry then had an argument or a fight, and then they didn't sleep in the same room, and that's how Kate ended up sleeping in the twins' room. Is that the same night, if I remember correctly? Yeah, so that's about it in terms of Kate's diary. And again, I'm gonna say that I find it very similar to her book in terms of the way it's written, and it's mainly focused on her rather than on Madeline, and the things that she says, as if she wants an audience to read the diary rather than just writing her thoughts. Yeah, so guys, let me know, what do you think about the diary or the extracts that I've read? Clearly they made money even from this diary, isn't it? Even though they didn't sell it, but they still made money because of the libel suits and apologies from newspapers and then donations to the fund. Okay, so if nobody has anything to say in the comments, I'm going to end the live tonight. It's longer than 2 hours. It's already gone to 3 hours, if you can believe that. And I guess I'll see you in the next live. I'm gonna have to think about what we're gonna be talking about in the next live and when that's going to be. Amber only saying, I think it's that it was meant to be read, most likely. Yeah, I do agree with that, yes. Okay, guys, thanks so much for joining, for staying with me to the end. Look, we've been together for 3 hours, so I think now it's time for me to let you go and enjoy the rest of your night. And yeah, have a lovely rest of the weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.